Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the 86th episode of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Let's get this week off to a good start. What do you say? I love stories, and I have one I'm going to start off with today, so humor me. I think you'll like it. All right, so there was an old farmer who had a horse, and one day his horse ran away, and his neighbors all said, "Oh, what bad luck you have." The old farmer just shook his head and said, "Maybe." Well, the next day, the horse returned, and with him, he brought 2 wild horses. And then all the neighbors said, "Oh my goodness, what good luck you have." The old farmer again just shook his head and said, "Maybe." Well, that day, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses, and it threw him off and broke his leg. To which all the neighbors cried, "Oh, such bad luck." To which the old farmer said, "Maybe." But then the next day, the military was coming through the town, and they were drafting healthy young boys for war. And when they saw the farmer's boy and his broken leg, they passed him up. By now, I bet you know what the neighbors said. "What good luck." And the farmer's response to that would be maybe. Well, the point is, as humans, we like to label things good and bad. But how many times in your life have things that seem bad at the time turned into something good or caused something good to happen? I'll give you an experience for me. When I was in first grade, my teacher thought I was super smart and then I needed to skip grades, so she had a special IQ test set up for me. They quickly realized that I was more intuitive, not so much book smart. So back to first grade I go, thank goodness. But by the time I got to high school, I was easily passing without studying at all, and most of the time doing my homework in class at the last minute. You see, education was not important to my family. I grew up in a family that was close, and we were happy for the most part, but we were part of a religion that was quite restrictive, and education was just not important. Because they believed that the end of the world was right around the corner, so developing yourself for success in this world really didn't make sense. Now, as I developed as a young adult, I outgrew some of those limiting belief systems. And one of the main limiting beliefs was they didn't want their members to be educated. College was basically forbidden. Neither of my parents had college degrees. My grandfather and most of my ancestors were extremely educated, but for my parents, it just wasn't important. Now, to be fair, they really weren't allowed to even consider it, so it really wasn't an opportunity for them. Now, I'm telling you this because honestly, I have thought so many times how glad I was that I didn't get to go to college right out of high school. I would have more than likely never realized my talent for interior design, and who knows what my degree would have been in. So I look back and what some, including a few of my high school teachers, thought was a travesty that I didn't go to college right out of high school. It ended up being a blessing for me because I went to college as an adult after discovering my love for interior design. So my degree was exactly what I was passionate about. And you see, what could have been a bad thing, a lack of education, turned into a really good thing because I got my degree as an adult when I was able to study what I was passionate for. And that turned out great. Now, I discovered my knack for design while my dad and I were building homes around year 2005. And something happened during that time that most people would think would be really upsetting, but at the time, I didn't realize it would be the best thing that could happen to me. We had this custom home that was finishing up, and it was supposed to close on a certain day. You know how they schedule these out. Well, we had scheduled a week after the closing for all of us to be out of town. My mom and dad were going on a cruise to the Caribbean, and I was scheduled to go to an Anthony Robbins seminar in Palm Springs, California, called Date with Destiny. So we come to the day of closing, and we just couldn't get the occupancy. It wasn't going to close, and it was going to take a week before the inspector could get it for us because we had to fix a few things. Well, one of us was going to have to cancel our trip. I decided to cancel mine so that my parents could go and have a wonderful vacation. So I canceled and rescheduled it for the following year, which cost me about $895, but it was worth it, trust me. So the next year at that rescheduled seminar in Palm Springs, California, I met my husband and my soulmate. You see, we would not have met had I not canceled my original trip. It ended up being the best thing that could happen to me, but at the time, it just didn't seem like that. I bet you can think of a time you had something happen that wasn't great, but good things came from it. Now when things are happening that don't seem to be going my way, I look at the situation and I ask myself, what good is going to come from this? Or maybe, what can I learn from this? So my challenge to you this week is, no matter what happens to you or what is going on, don't label it. Just always expect something good to come from it and watch how it changes your life. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.